What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Got a special client interview today with my guy, Taylor. Taylor's been in the program now for a few months, but Taylor won't steal your thunder. Why don't you go ahead, introduce yourself, what sport do you coach, and we can go from there.
What's going on, everybody? Nick, thanks for having me on. My name is Taylor Bryant. I am a private hitting instructor, infield mental game. That's kind of what I do. So appreciate having me on, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super, super stoked to just kind of dive into your journey because I think, personally, you are the type of dude who I feel like I really, really want to who I really resonate with personally. But why don't we kind of go back, start off with just like a little bit more about your background as maybe like a baseball player and then how you got into coaching.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Southern California. Played ball at Quinto High School. Earned a scholarship to Cal State Fullerton, where my time there was awesome. Got to play in two College World Series. Worked with some of the best mental performance coaches. Played for an awesome, coaching staff, teammates, you name it. It just was a slam dunk experience. From there, I was honored in getting drafted by the Cardinals. Played 2 years in their 2.5 years in their minor league system. After that, uh, got released and then got the opportunity to continue my career out here in Florence, Kentucky for the Freedom, but they're now the Yells. Um, and once my career kind of came to an end, 21, like I've always knew that I wanted to coach. Baseball's just been with me since I was 3 years old. I just could not, even though I fell short of my ultimate goal, making the big leagues. Um, I just couldn't imagine myself really doing anything else. So from there, I reached out to a couple facilities out here. Immediately started giving lessons. Um, Actually took a detour and thought I need to make more money. This is not doing it for me. So I took a job in um, cold calling sales and was there for 3 days. And that's not who I am as a person. But I knew very quickly that I was just going to waste my time in there. So continued the lessons, and then got an opportunity through actually lessons to coach a summer ball team out here, which I've been doing for a couple years. Um, and that's kind of my journey as a player, and kind of led up to what I do now as a full time instructor.
Sweet. Sweet. And obviously, you've had some pretty awesome experiences as a baseball player, and then you get into the 9 to 5 world. It only took you 3 days. For me, it took me a fucking year. But but when did you kind of start entertaining the idea of maybe I could do this online?
Um, Honestly, as I kind of follow more pages, stuff, falling on my feed or popped up on my feed and stuff like that. I'm like, shoot, like if all these coaches can do it, like why can't I? But I think there's always some like skepticism on
Mm,
can I like do it and how do you do it? And but I think when your ultimate goal is to just, it's about the athlete and about getting them better and developing them and not just earning a paycheck. You really become a better coach and you reach out to more people. And once I saw, your your mug pop up on my screen, I'm like, I mean, what does it hurt to reach out? And it kind of aligns up with making this like an actual career. So why not reach out and at least hop on a call and see how it works, see what he has to offer and what they have to offer, and the rest is kind of history. So
for sure, for sure. And I know one of the main concerns that you had before you joined the program was you weren't 100% sure how it all worked and if it really was going to work for you. So maybe if you can, obviously, you're on this channel right now, so obviously it fucking worked for you, but like if you can think back to where your mind was at then, what do you think was really kind of like the root of that skepticism?
um, probably because I'd never done anything like that as a coach or as a player. So, and honestly, like when I grew up, like there was like some not that I'm old, but there wasn't like in-person lessons, and like it wasn't as like prominent as it is now. And so I really didn't even have that as a player. Like I did, like I had a hitting coach I hit with every now and again, and this and that, but I kind of just did stuff on my own, and you know, so I didn't have that as a player, so it wasn't even on my radar like as a coach. And I was like, if I don't see them physically in person and get to see their swing or their how they move in the infield or whatever, like how are they going to get the feedback? Like how's that going to work? And is it going to work, without that one-on-one in-person personal connection?
100%.
That was like my biggest thing from the start.
100%. And so, despite that skepticism, you still decided to pull the trigger and join the program, right? What
Yeah.
was what was like kind of that deciding factor for you? Like, despite the fact that maybe you were kind of like, I don't know if this is 100% going to work for me, but like, let's give this a try. Like, what was kind of like that motivating factor for you?
I think the like realization that like what if like I could do this and change a bunch of like athletes' lives and reach out to and make this like a global thing. Like what if? Like what if this is actually a possibility, and if you don't take that risk or don't take risks in general, you know, then I would never, you know, see that, or I would never know that the answer to that question. And so I didn't want to look back and see like all these things and be like, okay, like all these like coaches are doing it and did the da 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 da, right? Um, and I didn't want to like look back in 20 years and be like, what if I did pull the trigger and give it a shot? Like, what do I have to lose? Kind of thing. I really don't have anything to lose. I just have everything to gain. And what I want to do, which is make this a legit career.
Yeah, 100%. That's sick, dude. That's
So,
sick. Well, good,
yeah,
good for you.
thanks.
And okay, so you're like, right, what if this actually does work? What if this dude on the internet telling me to stop giving lessons actually is telling the truth? You pull the trigger, you join the program. What was kind of like that first, let's say like 2 weeks to a month? Like what was that kind of like in the program?
Um, it was initially, I think I've, told you before, like it was a lot at first, in the sense that I think I just put that pressure on myself. Like I was like, okay, well, there's all these steps, right? This is a process, right? Like I'm not gonna just hop it in one week in this program, like be this big old, But I think just trusting like the process and trusting, people that know more than me, have more experience, and just leaning on them and continuing to believe in like what I do and like my experience and my knowledge, because I know there's a ton of value in that. And I say that, not arrogantly. I just, I do have a lot of experience playing this game and, playing with dudes and getting coached by dudes. And, so I think it was just learning to take a little bit of a step back and just lean on, the program, lean on the community, and take it day by day, and not have this like, false like image in my head that like everything was going to go like perfect, or I was just going to like hop in and just like all of a sudden be making $1 million a year, like or whatever. And once you, and for me personally, like it's not, yes, I'm super grateful that I get to make a living doing what I love, but that's not like that wasn't my initial, and I've never been that way. It's not like, oh, I just want to make a bunch of money, and like I actually like want to like change athletes' lives and you know um watch them grow as an athlete and as a person. you know like there would be nothing like more um exciting or like humbling for me than if like you know, one of my dudes makes it to the big leagues or gets that college scholarship or makes that high school team after they got cut or like whatever. You know what I mean? Like there's no like you can't like put a price tag on that, you know, for me.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And I think that's why, personally, I think that's why you've been able to have a lot of success with it, is because you've always put your athletes first,
Yeah.
right? So going back to that skepticism that you had where you're like, I'm not really sure if I'm going to be able to like help these athletes if I'm not there, yada, yada, yada. After kind of going through the program and being able to train athletes in this way and things like that, how would you describe like a hybrid or a remote program to somebody or to your old self, let's say like 3 or 4 months ago before you really knew what you were doing?
Um, I mean, I don't think it's even that complicated. I think it's just delivering, the same high level training and just realizing that like athletes can do this on their own and still like be in contact with you, 24/7, like 7 days a week for feedback. I mean, essentially that's what we're doing in person, right? As you're coming to me to better your swing or better your mind or better your defense or whatever it is, right? Um, and I take a look at your swing, I break it down, I take video, and I give you feedback, right? And the only like difference is if you're actually going to put in the work as the athlete, like you're going to have more of that, which I think everyone would agree as a coach and an athlete, getting feedback, 5 days a week is better than once or biweekly or bi-monthly or whatever it is. So I think that that would be the biggest thing is just the feedback. It's you're still getting the same quality of training. It's just not, instant, but it's
Yeah.
it's not a week at a time. You're getting it within a day or two, if not quicker.
100%.
You can go ahead and apply that to your next drill, to your next day at work or whatever it is, versus being stuck in the dark to be, thinking that what you're doing is developing you, but you don't have eyes on you for another week. You might be, doing stuff wrong or screwing yourself up even more, right? To where, that fast tracks your development. So we don't have to spend, we can use that time that you put in on your own, and you're already going to be more advanced and, higher than when you come see me next in person or the next time we talk or whatever it is.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. 100%. I think, one of the most interesting parts of, where I stand is, when people get into the program, they realize that like hybrid and remote is like a lot easier in terms of like actually training the athlete than you might understand.
Right.
So when you start, trying to pitch your hybrid program to these athletes, what was that experience like?
Um, I mean, initially it was a little nerve wracking just because it's something I've never done before. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and, but, the experience overall was awesome because, once I kind of got over like the initial like panic, I'm like, I'm just, trying to pitch something that like that I already do with these athletes or that I already have been doing for the last 3 years. Like I'm not trying to, you know, pitch some secret formula. I'm trying to pitch myself and what I and my knowledge, and if it's something that I can help you with, like I want to do my best to help you. And I know I'm not going to be able to help every single athlete. Um, that's just not realistic. But I know that I can help a bunch and hundreds and thousands, and you know what I mean. And if you're like willing to put in the work and you actually like want it, then I'm going to invest my time in you too. You know,
Yeah.
but the overall experience, like once I got over that initial kind of panic and trying to like overthink stuff, like I needed this perfect script and this perfect, like, hey man, like I want to help you, and you're on this call because you want to be helped. Like it's pretty simple. Now then from there, it's do what I have to offer actually can actually help you in your career.
Yeah.
So
I think it's so important, and I just want to hit on this again. Like you just continue to talk about how you can help the athlete and can you help them, and you understand that you can't help everybody, but the
right,
certain percentage of people that you can help, you can help a ton.
right, for sure. Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna, and that's the thing is like I'm not gonna say, hey man, I can help you for sure, because maybe I can't, and that's okay, you know. But I'm gonna try and, you know, do my best too, if that's the scenario, to link you up with someone that can, you know, because at the end of the day, like I said, like it's about your development, you know, and if, you know, I can't help you and someone else can, like freaking right on, man, you know.
Yeah, that's sick. And something that a question that we get like pretty often, but I have to ask it. Were you worried that parents weren't going to buy a hybrid program?
Um, a little bit, yeah,
Mm,
sure. I mean, you know, it's more money. I mean, more money to, you know what I mean? So yeah, but you know, I also, again, like, you know, when you kind of break it down okay, this is what you're, you know, paying me for 2 hours a month of hitting or whatever it is, right? And you really like break down like the numbers, like you're getting a lot more value for really not that much more money, you know? So again, like it's the value of, you know, of programs in the program and what you have to offer versus any kind of price tag, you know? Um, so yeah, for sure. I was a little, you know, again, going back to does this work? Does this like, will somebody actually buy this? You know, and you know, so for sure. But they do.
yeah. Yeah, 100%. No, I mean, dude, you're not alone. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
hear it every single day. Will
Yeah.
parents actually buy this? But I think you said it exceptionally well. Like it's really not a ton more money, but it's way more value,
Yeah. No, I
right?
mean, I've had multiple, you know, parents after they, you know, um, say, hey man, like this, if you're willing to put in the work, like it's absolutely worth the money, you know. Um, if you're not going to put in the work, then, you know, it doesn't matter if it's free, you're not going to get any better, you know. So it's for, you know, athletes that are serious about their careers. And if you're not serious about your career, then I probably can't help you anyway, you know.
Yeah.
Because again, like I want to put my time and energy into what I'm passionate about, which is coaching high level athletes that are serious about their goals and aspirations and dreams. So
That's sick. That's sick. Okay. Perfect. So you start pitching your hybrid program, then what happens?
as in,
Like what happened? Did people start saying yes? Did people start paying you? Did they tell you to get fucked?
yeah, no, I mean, people, you know, I mean, I think people started saying yes, you know, this sounds great. This, you know, like wish we would have had something like this sooner, or you know, this could have changed an outcome of where my son was last year if we had something like this, or whatever it is, you know. So yeah, I mean, the the yes to no's weren't like even like close, you know. It was, again, you know, hey, look how much progress, you know, little Johnny has made in 3 years. Could you imagine if he had 5 days of that for the last 3 years? Like holy smokes, you know. um so you know, lots of yeses.
Do you think that your athletes are highly probable to continue to buy your hybrid program?
Yes.
Why?
Um, just based on the feedback that I've gotten, like, you know, it might take just a month, right? If they're on a 3 month program, like in a few short weeks, they're like, holy crap, like, look at how much, you know what I mean? Look how much more I've developed and fast track. So like, you know, if it, you know, and really trying to get, you know, athletes and like parents to understand that like this is like it's a hard deal, man. It's a progression. It takes time. It's not just you know what I mean. So if you're gonna make all this like, you know, progress in a 3 6 month span, whatever it is, and just stop, like you're gonna go backwards. And I don't think that's what they want, or it's not what I want. But I don't think, you know what I mean. So um, why go backwards when you can, when something is proven to give you success
Yeah.
in a quicker way too.
100%. 100%. Switching gears a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, you tapped into the community a little bit. Why don't you tell me a little bit more about what happened with one of our fellow community members?
um, Carrie.
Yeah.
So Carrie, a little like quick story. Like she had messaged me on school, and she said, "Hey, like, you know, would love to talk to you about da 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 for her son Colby." And I was like, "Hey, let's hop on a call. Let's leave this an open conversation, and see how I can maybe help your kid." You know, because again, I'm thinking in my head like I'm like if I'm being completely transparent, I was like, I don't live in Sacramento. Like I don't really, know what teams are out there, what this, that, and the other, you know. But so I wanted to really get down to like the root of like where he needed help, you know. And so we hopped on a call, and the verdict was, she was maybe looking for something that he didn't need yet as far as like a team goes. Like he was pretty solid on where he's at, especially for his age. Um, and then we got into mental game and defense and this and that and the other, and hopped on a sales call essentially, and you know, been working with him for almost 3 months now. So you know that again, I told you, I've obviously told her like, um, not even a month and a half into like the program, like I already had a remote athlete from a different state, you know,
Yeah.
and so, and he's been great. She's been great. It's just been such like a wonderful like journey thus far,
Yeah.
So, and actually through her, I actually trained another kid on his team. So,
No way. I didn't know that.
yeah, within two months, give or take, like I had, you know, two kids from Sacramento that I was training remotely.
It's like,
So, and they've both been crushing the game. And it's been awesome to see, man.
yeah. How would you say that hybrid and remote training has changed your business and changed your life?
Um, I mean, it's changed my business, and I don't need to see. They don't need to be from the area, or they don't need to be in town. Even if they are from Ohio or from down the street, like they're gone away on a trip or playing summer ball in Florida or whatever it is. Like, you know, they still have access to me just like they would if they were here with me. And that obviously goes for any people out of state. So you're still getting the same training, um, but you don't have to wait 2 months because you're on a trip or you're gone for the summer, or you know. So I mean that's changed that aspect of my business obviously, because before, like if I couldn't see you in person, I wasn't training you, you know. Um, and it's from a life like perspective, like I am able to do that from anywhere. um I can do it right here in my basement, or in the car, or wherever, where I don't need to be at a facility to help my athletes get better. And so it's given me a little bit more time with my family, my kids, my wife. So it's business and like life. It's made everything a lot more um, free, right? You get more time back and get to deliver more, deliver the same product, but in a bigger way, you know.
And how would you say that the community or that the program in general has helped you get there? And what's been your favorite part about the program?
Um, the I think we hit on it a little bit ago, was the community aspect of it. You know what I mean? Like realizing and visually seeing and actually being able to hop on calls and message somebody, and that could be thousands of miles away, trying to accomplish the same things and making the same mistakes, and you know you can really resonate with that. You're not alone. You're like, oh shoot, like this, like what do I do here? Like there's probably 50 different examples within the community already once you go on the thing, you know? So, the community aspect of it, like to be able to bounce ideas off of people that are either currently in a, more successful or further along in their business and their journey, or someone who's just starting, you know? And there's been no judgment. There's been no, you know, no like, oh, that's a dumb question. Like, what, stuff like that. Like, it's just been super like beneficial to kind of lean on people and not feel like you need to know all the answers right away,
Yeah,
you know?
100%. Yeah, that's sick. And who would you say that the program is for? Like, if they join, it's literally impossible for them to fail. And then on the flip side, who would you say the program is not for? Like, they absolutely should not fucking join.
Um, the people that should join are coaches, people that want to expand and grow their business and, reach more athletes if that's what they want and are actually like willing to like put in the work. Like it just doesn't just happen, right? Um, and who it's not for is that very reason. If if you're not really serious about it, you don't want to put in the work, you think like it's just going to happen and you don't have to do anything. And, you sign up and all of a sudden you're, working with 450 athletes, like probably not for you, you know? But, and if you're not really serious about making this like a career, I would say that it's not for you either, you know? Um, so serious coaches that actually like want to make a difference in athletes' careers and lives.
Yeah, that's sick.
So,
That's sick.
yeah.
And for anybody watching this who's on the fence right now, who's maybe a little bit skeptical, they're like, I don't know if this is gonna work for me. I don't see how this could work for me. It seems too good to be true. What would you say to that person?
Sign up as quick as you can. And um, the longer that you wait, the longer you're probably not going to do it. Um, but you know, of course you don't know how to do it, right? That's why you lean on people who have more experience in anything that you do, you know, always being, willing to learn and grow and all that stuff. But, if you're on the fence and don't like it, I mean, the proof is there. So, sign up, do it.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you, brother. I know you gotta go spend some time with your family, dude. Is there anything else that you would want to say while the camera's rolling right now?
No, man. I mean, obviously, like huge shout out to, you and Matt and, Claude and, I'm sure I'm missing a, bunch of people, but everyone, on your team, everyone in the community, um, we couldn't ask for, better mentors, better community to lean on, I know I'm kind of repeating myself in that aspect, but I just can't emphasize that point enough to where like it's seriously like been like a game changer and to learn from all you guys and continue to um and as far as like my like business goes, like I'm always like looking forward to like every day, like how can I help another athlete today, or so. And I know I'm just beginning and that there's hundreds and thousands of athletes all around the world that I don't even know about yet that I'm going to help someday. So, um, but huge shout out to you guys and all that you do.
Dude, that is sick. I appreciate you saying that. And you're the reason why hybrid online training, like you're the reason why it's such a good thing, because you truly put the athlete first.
Right.
And I think the world needs more of you, bro.
No, I
So,
appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I think every athlete that I've trained or that at least signed up to my program thus far, like that's one of the first things out of my mouth is, hey, I care about you as a person before I care about you as an athlete, you know, and and that's not just not like a selling line, like that's who I am as a person. And I think that I continue to strive to be that person and hopefully I have a lot of people that can attest to that have worked with me personally and that are in my life. So, because the rest of it, again, you want to put in the work, I'm going to hold you accountable, and let's freaking get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Taylor, I appreciate you jumping on here so much. Where can people find you if they want to see what you're up to or make sure that you're actually a real person, that you're not AI generated?
Yeah. So I have my training page is TV training, on Instagram. So, if you're looking to take your game to the next level and might be able to help you, give my page a follow and let's ride, dude.
I love when you guys plug yourselves like that.
So
Well, Taylor, I seriously appreciate it so much, and I'm looking forward to seeing what else you can do. But if you're watching this, you're a coach and you're not in our program yet, what the fuck are you doing? Just kidding. Book a call with us if you want to learn more. Either way, Taylor, thanks for jumping on.
yeah, thanks, Nick. Appreciate it.